Hey, so welcome back to Rusty Guns. So, as you saw in the description or title of the video, it's about a scope uh, that I'm doing a quick review on. It is the Pinty, I believe is how they pronounce it, the Pinty scope. This is their, I think you can find it listed as like a tactical scope with laser, um, which it does have. It is a smaller scope, and it does have a laser that is mounted to the scope right here. It is a red laser. Let's see if you guys can see that. See if you can see it on my hand right there. But it is a actual laser, so try not to point it in the camera, so I don't want to blind anybody. But anyway, so it does have a laser on it. But the review is basically about, is it worth the money? Because, they are not that expensive. I think you can probably find them anywhere between, not sure, I think like $60 or so. I think you can find them for about that, maybe even cheaper. But is it worth the money? So I bought one to find out. And this, when I got this, it came in, I'm going to go ahead and tilt everything down now because you don't need to see my face anymore for the rest of this. But anyway, let's tilt the camera back down. Alright, so came in this box right here. I mean, nice box. So it was well packaged, nice thick foam, It's actually a very heavy scope. It is all metal. It is the Pinty. It is a 2.5 by 10 by 40, or 2.5 to 10 by 40. So I think most of the time you find this listed as a tactical scope with a laser, because it does have a laser right here, a red laser. You can see right there. Hopefully you can see that. So there is a laser on it. It also has red and green crosshairs in it, as well as just a straight black. So if you don't have it on, make sure this isn't on. If it's not on, you'll see nothing but black. But you can turn them on, and now you have green, or you can have red, and you can adjust the intensity of it, of course. Turn that back off now. So it's got some nice features in it, and I've already had this on here, and so you guys will see here in just a second. I'm going to show you some video when I went outside, because I wanted to test how easy it is to sight this in. Can you sight it in very quickly, and get something decent on paper in a relative quick amount of time, provided you know what you're doing when you do it. And so you'll be interested to see that. You have your this knob up here is for your ranges in 100 yards, 100, 200, 300, 400, up to 500. And you can take off the top piece, and that immediately gives you your elevation. Okay, right inside there. And if any of you know the sound, that's the sound of metal on metal. Yes, all these are metal. These are not plastic knobs. So these are all aluminum knobs. You have your windage right here to the side that you can adjust pretty quickly. Get that back on. Your magnification here, and then to focus right here on the very end. And then the light up apertures, crosshairs is right here, the knob for that, and the button right here for the laser to turn on and off. The laser batteries go in the back of this. You just turn this piece right here, and the batteries, it's like the small watch batteries, fit right down in there. It takes 3 of them. So that's one place. And then the large battery for the crosshairs to light those up goes in here. Just take a quarter or something and you can just take that right off, and it's got one of the large flat batteries in there. You know, I don't always like having an optic that has to use batteries, because should something happen and I can't use the batteries, you know, then is the optic still any good to me? That's why I don't really like red dots that much, something that's just a red dot, because if the batteries go bad or go dead, then all I have is just a center field of view vision, and I have to basically kind of guess at where the red dot is. With this, even if you don't have red or green apertures lit up, the red or green crosshairs lit up, you still always have the solid black one that's always in there. So that made me happy knowing that, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't mind, you know, doing this, to do a review on this particular scope. But other than that, I didn't have a problem with it. You know, fitting on, it fit on really quickly onto my gun. It just uses these quick tightening knobs right here. I like them, I don't like them. I didn't have any problems with putting them on, and they stayed tight the whole time that I shot. They didn't loosen at all, so that was nice. They didn't interfere with the ejection of any shells. The shells ejected fine. The one thing that bugs me about it, that I kind of don't like, is I can't have my iron sights on here, okay, or my pop-up sights, because your cheek has to be up pretty close to get in on here to get a good field of view vision on this. You can sit a little farther back and you can still get a decent view, but if you want the best possible view, you got to be up a little closer, and so in doing that you can't have a rear pop-up, because this actually will lay down on top of my M-Bus rear pop-up sight that I had on here, so I had to take that off, which I didn't kind of like. I didn't like having to take off basically my iron sights, because I always like having iron sights. But you know, it worked fine. I'm going to keep it on here for a while and keep running some rounds through it to make sure this thing holds a zero. With the few rounds that I did put through it held zero. It held, well, not zero, but it held what I put on there really well, because I didn't go to get it absolutely exact perfect. I just did how quick could I get this, you know, inside a 10 ring, basically. So, which was easy, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that video, and then I'll talk a little bit about some other flaws that I found. Alright, so we're going to start off shooting this target here, and we're going to be approximately 25 yards away. We're not going to go really far back on this, because mainly we just want to see how easy it is to adjust the scope to get it, you know, to kind of zero it in. No matter what the distance is the process still just as easy? So that's what we're going to test out and see if that in fact is the case with this optic. So as you can see with the Core 15, those are 3 shots, all grouped within that area. So they are staying all within the spot. My crosshairs were on the circle. So I will try to make the adjustments for that based on this distance and what I was shooting. So again, it's walking in a little bit closer, but it's not walking in fast enough. So we're going to have to make big changes. I was hoping that would change a lot faster than what it did, but it did not. So we'll have to go with very large changes. And 3 more shots. So there, I think we've done what we needed to do, which was, within 9 shots, now we are actually putting them on center. A couple small minor detail adjustments, and we'd be able to put everything right in the center. So it's actually very quick and easy to sight in. I did have to go to big changes. I had to see at first, how much the changes were going to be with the optic, and they were very minute. So then we went with some really large changes, and we basically put it almost dead on the money, just that quickly. So let's check the laser real quick. First we'll start it at 25 yards and see if it's good and clean, if we can see it real well, and how accurate it is. Now the laser, when I was looking through the scope, was down in this area. I don't know if that's what you guys saw, but that's what I was seeing. And then I wasn't seeing it anymore. It is on. There it is right there. So I think at a distance, that's going to take a little bit more work to sight that in properly. But I mean, it's on. You can roughly see it. So, and with the scope being adjusted properly, now we're going to do some just using the laser at closer ranges and seeing how well that works out. So we'll go to about 10 yards and we'll just use laser only. Okay, so one of the things I'm noticing with this is that the laser is shutting off after shots. The recoil is shutting off the laser, and then it's causing me to have to reset it to get it back on, because there it's on, and if I fire a shot it'll go off and then I'll have to flick it back on. Sometimes it comes back on its own, but most of the time it doesn't. There, I haven't hit the button. So you can see I don't have a laser. Now it popped on all by itself. So that part of it's kind of sporadic. I don't know what's causing that, but that's an issue. So, but other than that, the optic itself is working perfectly fine, the actual glass. The laser, I wish that would stay on a little bit more. I'll have to figure out to see if there's a reason why that's doing that. Maybe I don't have the battery in there solid enough, and the battery's getting shook, and so it's causing a disconnect. That's something I'll have to work on and see. But otherwise, I'm happy with the optic. It's actually really clear. I mean, what I think as far as being really clear, and it was pretty easy to adjust and get on zero. At this short range, it's only 25 yards, but still, to be able to adjust it quickly, that's pretty good. So let's wrap this up. We'll head back in. Okay, so the one flaw that I talked about when I was outside was the laser. What I found when I came back inside was this rear cap for the batteries. It was loose a little bit. It was a little loose. And so I believe that, like I said out there, I believe that's exactly what the problem was. The recoil was shaking it and pushing, causing separation in the batteries. And so once everything settled back down, where I pushed on the end cap, then the batteries pushed back and everything lit back up. So you just got to make sure, if you start having that problem, tighten the cap, the battery cap to the laser, and you shouldn't have that problem anymore. But that was the problem that I was having. Other than that, it actually worked very good. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't have to go spend $1,000 to get a quick, small scope for the top of this gun, and it works really good. My core still shoots as well as it always does. The first 3 shots, you can't group them anyway. Can't group them a whole lot better than that. So again, if you guys haven't checked out Core 15, go check them out. It's a great company. They make really great rifles. I've been absolutely happy with my gun, since I bought it. So, and it's always grouped like that since I pulled it out of the box. But anyway, the Pinty scope, yeah, if you're not wanting to spend that thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, or you can't afford to, go find this scope. It's the Pinty 2.5 to 10 by 40. I think, and like I said, I think it's called a tactical scope with laser. You can find them on Amazon at about, I think $60 or something like that, maybe even a little cheaper, who knows. But definitely go check them out. I saw good reviews and bad reviews. Some people had bad reviews listed on there. Most of those were because of when it got shipped, something happened to the scope when it was shipped. Other than that, most of the reviews I saw that people actually went out and used it. They were happy with it. They said it held zero. Like I said, I'm going to keep this on here. I'm going to keep shooting through it. I'm going to see how long it does hold zero, or how often it has to be adjusted to figure that out. And I'll keep you guys up to date on that. But anyway, so thanks a lot, everybody. Hope the video was informative. If you've got any questions about it, something I didn't cover, or maybe that you want to know, just leave a comment, and I'll get back to you on it. But thanks a lot, everybody. Take care, and remember, there's no such thing as a rusty old gun.